and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things Weiss Schwarz and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to share with you 3 community formats to play for Weiss Schwarz. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button. As well as that, check out my other social medias on Twitch, on X, and on Discord. Links are down in the description below. But let's jump straight in. Now, first of all, I know I've been away from YouTube for a while. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. I've been going through some stuff, and I'm glad to be back. I'm hopefully going to be back at full power again with weekly videos, as well as doing some weekly gameplay videos using the Weiss Schwarz simulator. So hopefully we'll get to see some more content as well. And also we are going to be doing more stuff such as event vlogs and just general stuff like that as well, away from Weiss Schwarz. So I hope you look forward to that. But today I do want to share with you 3 community formats that I've played before on stream, in person, and they're really, really fun, away from the standard neo-standard format in competitive play. So I hope you enjoy this and I hope you try them out. And if you do try them out, let me know in the comments below which of these 3 you prefer, and let me know some funny stories playing these formats. Now, the first format I want to share with you is Weiss Schwarz. Now, Weiss Schwarz is exactly the same as a normal neo-standard game of Weiss Schwarz, with one exception. Every turn, you roll a d10 or a d12 dice, and depending on what you roll, you impose a rule. This incites all sorts of chaos. Let me explain the sort of rules that you can put into here. For example, if you roll a 1 on a d12, both players put the top card of their deck into their clock. Not as damage, just put it straight into clock. Another rule that could be put in is that all play costs are reduced by 1, making your 3 2s cost 3 1, making your 2 1s cost 2 0. This also accounts for events and any cards that you play from your hand to the field as part of their play effect. That does not include things like backups because that is an effect cost. However, there is a rule where effect costs are also reduced by 1. Another one as well is for the next 2 turns, when you clock, instead of drawing 2, you draw 3 cards. So if you roll it, yes, you get that bonus, but your opponent will get that bonus next turn, guaranteed. And these are the sort of rules that you can apply. You can do encore rules where all characters gain clock encore or hand encore. You can make a rule where both players heal damage. There is so much that you could do with this, and it does allow for all sorts of chaos. For example, one game I played, someone was playing Project Diva X and was using the effect where it's pay 1, draw 1, ditch 1. On that turn, they rolled the effect that all effect costs are reduced by 1. So they were able to loop the Hatsune Miku effect with no cost and just draw, drop, draw, drop, draw, drop, and fix the hand to exactly what they wanted to. This happened. It's pure chaos, and we loved it. Now, the rolling of a dice every turn was sort of a thing that I put into the rules, at least for my own games, but the original Weiss Schwarz was that you had a rule of like 20 rules, and you roll a d20 at the beginning of the game, and whatever you rolled, that rule would be in place throughout the entire game, and you would only roll the dice once. So it's up to you how you want to do it, whether you want to do it just once at the beginning of the game and have a blanket rule across the entire game, or whether you want to change it up and make it every turn just to basically get some additional extra rules involved. It's entirely up to you, but it is really, really fun, and it does really mix up how the game plays, so I strongly recommend it. Now, the second community format I want to share with you is Highlander. Now, if you know Magic the Gathering, which I believe is where Highlander originated from, and you know Commander specifically, you will have heard of Highlander and roughly know what's going to happen. But basically, in your deck, you can only run unique copies of cards in your deck. So that means you must run 50 different cards in your deck when going into a game. Now, you can run this into standard or neo-standard, depending on how much you want to restrict yourself. I think most people tend to play it in neo-standard, where you still keep yourself to a title, a set code, and then you just run 50 unique cards from that set. It's really, really interesting. It creates the opportunities for some really fantastic deck build ideas. It makes you play cards that you otherwise wouldn't have. It's really, really fun. It's really, really different. It's definitely not the most competitive game and format in the world because getting climax combos is just not going to really happen and things like that unless you get very, very lucky and you're able to build a deck that still enables you to play a card where the combo only goes off once per turn, basically, where it sacks the climax off when you resolve the effect. You can really focus on those sort of combos, but it is a really, really fun format, and it's something I strongly recommend. You may want to add some additional rules into Highlander. So for example, we all know that Hololive has got a lot of unique cards and a lot of cards that are very similar. For example, I think there are like 6 or 7 climax swappers in Hololive now. You may want to make it so that certain types of effects are also restricted to 1, so that decks like Hololive can't become rampant. And yes, you're running 7 different cards, but it's the same card. You may want to prevent that, and that might be like an additional house rule that you decide to put in. However, that isn't a requirement for standard Hololive, and you can just sort of play as much as you want as long as every single card in your deck is unique. It is a really, really fun format. It's a really difficult format to play as well, and sometimes Guy Climax just wins games. But yeah, Highlander's the second format. And again, if you've ever played Highlander before, please let me know in the comments below. And what set do you think is the best for Highlander? Let me know. I think Hololive takes it, just with the variety of cards in the set. But who knows? There could be something really weird and wonderful in Quints or something. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, what set do you think would take Highlander? And the third community format, which a lot of people know about, is the waifu format. Now, there are different rules for different communities and things like that, but the standardized format that I know for waifu is that in your deck, you must have all of your cards include the character in the image of every card in your deck, with the exception of up to 4 cards. So you're allowed to run 4 non-waifu cards, but every single card apart from those 4 must include the waifu of selection, or husbando if you will, and it must include that character in the card image. You can run that card. So even if the card is not actually that character itself, for example, I can think of a card in Bane Dream where it's, I want to say it's Pastel Palettes, where it's got Aya in the card, but the card isn't Aya, it's another character, or it's something like that. Like, cards like that are allowed as long as it's in the card art. And again, that creates some really wonderful and wacky ideas in terms of deck builds and what classes is a waifu card. It creates some debate, but it does work and it is really, really fun. And again, it lets you see decks that otherwise wouldn't exist. Now, obviously, there are certain waifu decks that are very obvious looking at you quintessential quintuplets. Nino deck, Itsuki deck, Ichika deck, sure. You could, if you wanted to, because those decks and sets are designed to specifically be waifu decks, you could say, actually, we're going to not allow quintessential quintuplets to be a set in a tournament, just because they are specifically designed to be strong as a waifu deck. And that's the whole point of the deck. So it might be that you don't allow that, and then you allow every other waifu deck to basically force people to think of something different rather than something that already exists and has proved to do well very competitively. But again, that's more of a community house rule. It's entirely up to you and like the individual tournament and how you want to do that. But waifu format is really, really fun, and I strongly recommend you check it out. And I guess the obvious question, what's your waifu of choice? Let me know in the comments below. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so glad to be back. And I hope you look forward to seeing more Weiss and Chill content on YouTube and on Twitch coming out very, very soon. Again, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And as well as that, check out my other social medias on Twitch, on X, and on Discord. Those links are down in the description. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!